Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Draft!
Savior of the universe.
Draft!
He's saved everyone else.
Who's excited? Oh my goodness.
The ballers are.
It is Thursday. That's a little something new for us because you only have draft day once a year, baby.
Draft
Well,
day.
three days a year.
Well, it can be every day if you watch the Kevin Costner movie.
Did you watch that movie? Did we go to that movie together?
No, I saw
Oh,
it with my wife, and I regrettably saw that movie after I left. That's 2 hours.
I enjoyed the movie, even for all of its ridiculous trades. I just enjoyed watching a major movie about the NFL. That's it.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. I am Kevin Costner. Andy Holloway, joined by Jason Moore, Mike, the Fantasy Hitman. Right. Quick question. Jameis Winston is a...
Franchise quarterback.
Okay.
I was going to say NFL quarterback.
I was going to say
a step below franchise.
Tampa Bay Buccaneer. I was kind of going for what team he's going to be on.
Oh,
Marcus Mariota is a...
Titan.
I say Marcus Mariota is a
Yeah, come on, top 10, man.
New Orleans Saint.
I'm going to say Tennessee Titan. Todd Gurley is a...
Oh, I got to think about a second round team that will take him.
Second round.
Oh,
You're crazy.
come back to me.
All right. I say Todd Gurley is a Miami Dolphin.
I say Todd Gurley is an Atlanta Falcon.
Okay.
Hold on. Oh, I don't know.
Wow.
Sorry,
Weak.
I don't know.
Way to
I don't know
bring
the
it.
second. I don't know the second round order. The first round came up. I will go with he is a Jaguar
Okay.
in the second round.
All right. Big day today, boys. NFL draft time is here, and I'm excited. We got some news and notes on today's show, and then we've got a big old mailbag to sift through, answer a bunch of listener questions. We are the answer. We are Allen Iverson.
Practice?
I just
Nice.
saw, man,
Nice.
I just watched another one of his old interviews, and he kind of liked himself.
I would
Just a little bit.
I would like myself too if I was Allen Iverson.
Yeah,
except for
seriously.
the wasting all my money part.
So lots of good content for today's show. Last Thursday, we brought you a bunch of the rookie kind of preview information. We'll touch some of that today, answer a bunch of fantasy football questions. The time is coming. It is coming soon. The NFL season will be here before you know it. You'll be drafting. And if you stay tuned to the Fantasy Footballers, hopefully we can help you out with that draft. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do so at the FF Ballers. You can follow Jason at JasonFFL. Follow Mike at FF Hitman. And you can follow me at Andy Holloway. You can visit us on the web at thefantasyfootballers.com. We're going to be putting more and more content up there as well. Our rankings, we will get them up there.
The video of this show.
Yeah, you can now subscribe on YouTube as well. These shows are going out every time we podcast. A few hours later when we figure out what we're doing, we put the show up live. If you want to email us,
give the email.
mail at thefantasyfootballers.com. And you can go ahead and send us your question. We love answering questions on the show. And go into iTunes. Click that subscribe button. We like it. We appreciate it. We actually feel it every time you push that button.
Mm-hmm.
We get a little buzz.
When those 5 stars come in, those 5 stars go right to my heart.
I have a pacemaker connected to Bluetooth on my phone with reviews. Just buzz my heart. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
so
You keep
your impact.
Mike alive.
Yeah, that's true. That's true with all those 3x3s.
if you don't
I'm
get
putting down.
like 1 or 2 5-star reviews a day, you cease to exist.
At least a part of me does.
We should tie like reviews in directly with your hairstyles, like certain amount per day. It's how you have to. Speaking of 5-star reviews, let's read one of them.
Reviewosaurus Rex. This one comes in from Jonathan Trent. Jonathan Trent says, "Hey dudes," because we are the dudes.
You realize we're all giving you 5 stars just so we can get our reviews read, right?
I hope not.
I really hope not. But we're willing to read this one. There were far better ones, but we're honest and humble here. It says, well, maybe not all of us. Here's to the only podcast that's giving us fantasy freaks our bi-weekly dose of heaven. Thank you for all the knowledge, the tactics, the info, and the humor. Well, Jonathan Trent, you're welcome, and we love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just asked for reviews. If you think we're more of a 4-star show, you can put that in there. I mean, we would disagree, but
Yeah.
did you have a question right before I played that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, so after the draft is over, is that the official start for you guys of actual fantasy draft season, or does that still wait?
I think it's the start because you can start actually projecting on. We have these situations now. We talked about it last week. The Devontae Freemans or the Jerick McKinnons or the Lamar Millers. These guys that could be impacted by the draft. I mean, I believe draft season started right when the Seattle Seahawks decided not to hand the ball to Marshawn Lynch.
Oh,
At the end of that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. It'll be nice. It'll be nice to be able to talk about some of these things with a little bit more conviction.
Yeah. And there's the second round of free agency that happens.
All of our water bets will be more relevant then. So let's look at a few of the news and notes.
News and notes from around the league.
You want to know why I had hesitation? Because I almost said, let's look at some of the news and notes from around the league.
Oh,
Would have been very redundant.
That's
Well,
all right.
now you redundant it.
Draft.
Oh, wait, what?
The draft, the
what's
NFL
happening?
draft is tonight. Oh. We've made our bold predictions. Are you guys standing by yours?
I fully stand by my.
Well, I said it,
crazy,
so
first of all.
I have to stand by it.
So you think maybe Mariota. Jason thinks that Mariota might drop out of the first round. Jason,
No.
No. Whoa.
Out of the top 10.
Whoa. First round.
I think it's possible.
That's right, because Mike said that running backs wouldn't go in the first round.
Yeah, possibility. Now remember, these are bold
I know.
predictions, as in.
I'm excited to see what kind of trades go down tonight.
Yeah, I mean that's the best
That
part.
the number 2 pick. I mean,
the ticker comes across and trade pops up, and you
Yeah.
want to know what happened.
when Tennessee hits the board, that's when the draft starts.
Oh, the first 15 minutes is just going to be excruciating because the Bucs are going to let that clock go all the way to 0.
Well, to see if they get some kind of offer that makes them,
It's just that's the worst.
go crazy.
But-
Because they said, what did their GM come out and say? A lot of interest for that first pick now.
Yeah, well, of course there is.
Yeah, I don't know
A lot of
if you could
interest
get a haul though.
means like his son came and said, "Hey, I bet you could trade that pick."
Yeah, Brian Quick. This is news. Brian Quick could be
It is. Brian Quick was a waiver wire sensation.
could be
last
ready
year.
for OTAs. Well, that's good for him.
You got to pay attention.
So
man.
what is Brian Quick going to be this year?
I don't
A
know.
wide receiver.
Mike, what say you?
I got it. Well,
Yeah, you put this news in here.
just is Nick Foles actually the quarterback of the Rams? I don't know.
Okay.
I gotta see all that stuff. But Brian Quick, apparently you guys have the short-term memory loss. That Brian Quick was a beast for a few games.
Yeah, he had a good run. I don't know what he'll be this year. He's a good player.
Just saying.
Just depends on who their quarterback is. Browns left tackle Joe Thomas said Johnny Manziel is committed now. Night and day difference from last year. Does it matter?
It matters to me because it's coming from Joe Thomas. I feel like Joe Thomas is a kind of a leader of that team, and if he's saying it, maybe he's just trying to pump up Manziel a little bit more.
I completely disagree with you. I think he's a leader, and because he's a leader, he's going to support anybody that is on that roster, no matter what happens.
They did not support him last year.
Yeah, the team turned on him last
They
year.
all crapped all over him, and if he's really turning his life around, if the Browns give up every single pick they have for Mariota, it doesn't matter. But it's worth noting.
I think that all the news that the Browns are going to give up every single pick to get Mariota is to get Johnny Manziel doing what he's doing, and he's doing it. I mean, nothing like motivating. Johnny Manziel has
It's like Montel Williams. He's doing it well.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I messed up the reference. No. That was LL Cool J.
Montel Williams.
You got LL Cool J and Monte.
I was trying to think, who's the guy who, this is how we do it?
This is how we do it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Jason Moore. But my point is, Manziel's always had everything kind of given to him.
Montel Jordan.
He hasn't had. Yes,
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Williams he's the talk show host.
Yeah,
right?
Montel
Okay.
Jordan is the one that's saying that song, right?
All right. Well, at least whatever.
This is why we're Striper fans.
yeah.
I apologize.
Anyways, I just think a little fire under Johnny Manziel might actually get him to have a work
And
ethic. And with a work ethic,
agree.
maybe he could be an actual NFL quarterback. I still don't think he will be.
You like quarterbacks who run. That's why you like Mariota.
Yeah, I don't believe in Manziel. But I guess Joe Thomas does now.
Yeah.
Texans agreed to terms with the poor guy. I felt so bad for him. Running back Chris Polk of the Eagles,
No
formerly of the Eagles, to a 1-year contract. It's a good landing spot to be kind of that.
Does he become the handcuff?
No, not to me.
It's Alfred Blue still?
Alfred Blue's the handcuff, but Polk is just another guy to have on that roster who was, discarded because what did they pick up his they picked up his option, but then they
No. They
reneged it.
They tendered him, and then they took it away.
That's what it was. When they made the commitment to Ryan Matthews and then got DeMarco.
And Frank Gore, when they went after every other running back. Chris Polk. But I actually really like this news for your boy, for Arian Foster, because I was thinking.
Well, no one's taking his carries.
Yeah, my point is, I really thought that they were going to be going after a replacement this year.
In
for
the
Arian
draft.
Foster in the draft.
Yeah, you did. You mentioned that.
And I don't see that. I think if you're Houston now and you've got Alfred Blue and you sign Chris Polk, maybe you steer away from running backs in this draft, which means I like Arian Foster. I expected him to have that guy in the waiting. It's not going to be Chris Polk, and that might keep the guy in the waiting off for another year. So I like it.
That's a pretty good point. I like Arian Foster. He's just got to stay healthy, man. He's got to prove me right.
He's got to get some of those Chip Kelly power smoothies.
Speaking of Arian Foster, or speaking of draft day, he was in that.
He was.
He was one of those up-and-coming college recruits in the movie Draft Day.
Oh, really?
Critically acclaimed movie.
Really?
I don't remember the movie.
Did you watch
that
the
well.
movie?
Yes, I did. But
He doesn't know who Arian Foster is.
Who's Arian?
Jodie Foster's brother.
Oh, yeah, no, I knew that.
All right, let's move it.
All right, hey, one last bit of news here. We wanted to remind you of our new promotion we have with FanDuel.com. FanDuel's the leader in one-day fantasy sports. Super fun. All of us have played FanDuel before. They pay out over $10 million every single week.
It's a lot of quiche.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of quiche.
Yeah, so we got a promotion with them where if you sign up for FanDuel, obviously football's not going on right now, but if you're a baseball fan, I know a lot of fantasy football players that play fantasy baseball as well.
That might be the best daily fantasy sport.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you can fill rosters. Every team plays.
And you can
almost
still
every day.
do playoff basketball.
Oh, that's fun too. Yeah. But if you sign up right now on FanDuel, if you've been thinking about signing up on FanDuel, you can use a promo code from this show, Ballers, to sign up and earn yourself a $200 match on your deposit. So if you're going to sign up for FanDuel, that's a great way to do it and support the show. So go to FanDuel.com, sign up with the promo code Ballers, and receive up to a $200 bonus on that first deposit.
I heard we got Master P signed up using our code.
Really?
Yeah.
You mean Montel P?
No,
Or-
I'm confident in this reference.
Let me say, nah.
There we go.
Yeah, thank you.
Mailbag.
We needed your best. We neaded your best today because this is a mailbag show,
It
man.
turned
We're
into the-
answering questions.
Turned into the mail baggie.
Oh, I liked it.
It's packing too many kids'
I
lunches
loved
this
it.
morning.
I loved it. No, I'm all about it. Packing too many kids' lunches. When does the pre-draft party begin?
It already did, my man.
It's right here.
I did 3 somersaults to
we
get
going-
out of my bed. I warmed up with about 2 push-ups.
Nice.
Maxed out my
Nice.
reps.
Yeah.
I really hope he
Threw it
got
in a
out of
man
bed
bun
did
and got
2
over here.
push-ups. I really hope that's how he gets up and he starts his push-ups and he's like 1, 2, all right. Got my workout.
Gets the
You
heart
got to
pumping.
get to the studio, man.
It's just a studio.
Wait, is the draft at 4 our time? 3,
5.
4? 5 our time.
It was very confusing.
I'll get there at 1 to be safe.
Yeah, you don't want to miss anything.
All right, let's answer some questions. This one comes in off of Twitter at Immelhelk. At Immelhelk.
It could be Emil.
Emil?
Helk.
Emil. Oh, my bad.
It's from
Oh,
Denmark.
it's from Denmark.
Yeah.
Emil Helk.
Big love from Denmark.
Ho ho!
That's sweet because we had a Scottish mailbag question. I'm gonna work on that.
I need a
I'm gonna work on
Denmark
that.
accent here, Andy, as you read this.
Freedom.
No,
No, I don't know.
Scottish.
Oh, Denmark? What do they speak in Denmark?
Deutsch.
Apologies to you,
Big
Emil
love from
Holton.
Yeah, we are American.
Let's answer the
education
question
system.
instead of there we go. In a 12-team keeper league, they can keep 3 players, and Bell is his first keeper.
Mm-hmm.
So trade his 5th and 7th pick for Hill and ODB.
Then
So
he trades. So he has to trade a 5 and a 7 to acquire them, and then he would have to burn his 2nd and 3rd to keep them.
I see.
So essentially a 2 and a 5 for Hill and a 3 and a 7 for ODB.
That's a lot of picks.
A 2 and a 5. Okay.
So basically, he would end up, if he does this deal, he would end up with great keepers in Bell, Hill, and ODB, but then he would have
A 4, 6, 8 through rest of draft.
4, 6. Ooh. Eesh.
I'd probably do it.
Really?
Yeah. I'd probably do it. I think Jeremy Hill and Odell Beckham are just top-tier guys. They're both top-tier guys.
I think at most I would do maybe 1. I would make the move for Hill, so I can have Bell and Hill. But I mean that's a really steep price, and if you're trading for them, so are the other person who's keeping them is not keeping them, or the team who has them right now
Might not be able to keep them.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. That's a lot to give up because the draft is your shotgun approach. You want as many tickets as you can possibly get. Even though those are good tickets to have.
What's your thought, Jason?
I think that if Hill goes back in the draft, you might be able to get him there, with your second anyway.
Let's assume that he
But
can't
you don't
go
get
back.
ODB with your 3rd, though.
Well, it's not a
No.
3rd. It's a 3rd and a 7th.
Yeah, it's a 3rd and a 7th and a 2nd and a 5th. I think that championships are won with elite stars, and I think if you can get these guys, it would be a lot of fun, and you'd have a good team. You can take shots at obviously you're going to still have the same amount of picks and fill in your roster, so you still have the same amount of flyers you can take late. And when you've got a core that's really nice,
good point.
Well, not to mention, if these guys are being kept, other guys are being kept.
Yeah,
It's not like the board is filled up.
I keep him. I take it.
All right.
It's super close, and I wouldn't enjoy my draft as much, but I would love to have those 3.
All right, let's move on. At DJ Touchup asks this trade question, or I guess it's a keeper question. Give up AJ Green for Morris, Jordan Matthews, and the 1-4.
Yeah, the 4th pick in the first round.
And he already has the 2nd and 3rd in the first round?
Correct. This is a dynasty question.
Yeah.
I would do it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, in a
Not
heartbeat.
that
Yeah,
I'm
the
down on-
dynasty thing obviously makes a huge impact. You're not talking about a draft pool here, but I think yeah,
I would trade AJ Green for Jordan Matthews and Alfred Morris
outside of the pick.
straight up. You're also adding in
Yeah, at 4 you're
who
going to get
would-
one of those top wide receivers or running backs from the draft that have a good future.
Parker, White,
Yeah, I would do it.
Gurley,
Yeah.
somebody there.
Yeah, do that.
Easy peasy. That
Yeah,
one's-
not bad.
That's a good deal for you too.
Here's everybody's favorite Kelvin Benjamin related question
Yeah.
here. At RJ2024, Kelvin Benjamin for 202, Kobe Fleener, and Niles Paul?
Oof.
That's gross.
No.
Yeah, I'm not a Kelvin Benjamin guy, but I still can't do that. What about you, Mr.
No.
The ultimate Fleener fan?
Fleener. Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because I want to make sure people understand this. I really like Kobe Fleener this year. I think he's going to be a good tight end that you can get super late. But please do not mistake Kobe Fleener love for saying that that's a roster spot you need and you should go after him. It's about value, and all the tight ends are pretty much the same once you get past those first guys. So unless you play in a 3 tight end league, which you don't, as you gave us your roster lineup, this would be a terrible move. And I'm down on Kelvin Benjamin too, but you're not going to need Kobe Fleener, Niles Paul, and the 202. Those are all waiver wire week in, week out people that you're going to be grabbing.
Yeah, I think we all agree on that one,
Yeah. I'm going to keep Benjamin.
even if you don't like Benjamin.
Yep.
All right, this one is an email question that comes in from Mikey B. Guys, first off, love the show. Bravo. I am starting multiple new dynasties this year. I'm just tired of redraft. No real commitment, which I totally agree. Our favorite league is we call it,
It's a
keeper league.
It's a
It's a
keeper
3
league.
keeper league, but yeah, having some implications for the next year, that's crucial. And it makes it super fun. So question 1 says basically that. I want to know your thoughts on which you prefer and why.
I prefer keeper over dynasty, but I definitely prefer 1 year mattering for the next over redraft leagues. If you're in a league with the same guys year after year after year, convert to a keeper league because, with the same core guys, you want, to be able to make moves that matter for the future. You want to be able to look, if your team isn't doing good this year, you can still play for something, already in your trades and things like that. So I would do that. But I think keeper leagues are the right amount of casual and crazy. Dynasty leagues,
Dynasties are fine, but you lose really the draft fun of every year.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though, in a keeper, you got some guys off the board, like our league, which I love the way our league does it because we let some of the good guys drop back in there, but you leave enough guys to where draft preparation is really fun. But yeah, Dynasty, you just miss that part of it. So I prefer keeper, but I like your thought here to go and get some commitment out of those guys. He also asks, what are the importance of quarterbacks in Dynasty and keeper leagues? And then he wants to know, do we believe Andrew Luck is the number 1 overall
in a dynasty?
I don't know what the answer to that question is for sure because Aaron Rodgers is 31.
To me, we're talking 12 team, the quarterback, I'm still not keeping a quarterback. I suppose it depends on the size of the roster, because if you have a short bench compared to a long bench, it changes things because people start holding on to multiple quarterbacks if you have a huge bench. But even in a keeper league, I'm still going through quarterbacks. I think I played 8 QBs this year, and it worked out really well. And in a dynasty, I'm not taking Luck. Even though a quarterback like Luck, he's going to be around for a while, I'm still going to go with a high-end wide receiver.
Well, but if you had to decide on a quarterback, though, I'm saying let's say you don't want to do the work of streaming QBs for the next 10 years of dynasty, and you want to get the guy that gives you the best odds at being that guy. Would you go Luck because he's in his 20s, or would you go Aaron Rodgers because he's better? Probably. I'd probably go Luck.
I'm going to go Luck. He's still getting better, and he has far more time left than Rodgers.
Yeah, and there's a huge difference between keeper and dynasty. Keeper, I think, has pretty much near the same rules that you're going to, as far as the value of players in a draft and things like that, as a redraft. Obviously, you want younger over older a little bit, but in a dynasty, it's very skewed. You don't have these guys being drafted year after year. So Andrew Luck in a quarterback specifically, is extremely important if you can get one of those top decade-long guys and have that be done for 10 years. That's why wide receivers are so important in dynasty leagues, is because the longevity of a wide receiver versus the longevity of a running back for a dynasty league is just more value. You get more years out of them.
One of that brings up a good point, because this is something that we see a lot of. Just because you're in a keeper or a dynasty league doesn't mean that you need to. I mean, play to win. That's my mentality when I play fantasy football. Play to win every single year. Yes, you might. I mean, in some of these dynasty leagues, you might not have a roster that has that capability and you're rebuilding, but I play to win every year. And what you see is other people trying to bail. Last year, Marshawn Lynch. Everyone wanted to bail on Marshawn Lynch. Mike, in our league, you traded for him.
I did.
It's a keeper league. Maybe he doesn't have the best long-term keeper value compared to a guy like Jeremy Hill or somebody else, but he won you your league because you put him on the roster and he's still playing well. Arian Foster's another guy. If you're in a keeper or a dynasty league, maybe Arian Foster, the shine is off of Arian Foster.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Foster has
dynasty is still a little different, but if you're in a keeper league, I completely agree with you. I mean, obviously, you want to win your league. In any year that he's playing, Arian Foster is going to help you. But if you're in this situation, sounds like he's joining a new dynasty league with everybody drafting all over.
Correct.
And
I was talking broad philosophically, not just this league. But
gotcha.
There.
At Adon Davenport wants to know first pick in the third round for Kadeem Carey.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Why are you guys so high on Kadeem Carey?
If the situation of the Bears, if they don't bring in another running back, I don't think Forte is long for this world of football. I don't think he has very much time
That's
left.
so bold.
Yeah,
mean,
I caught
what is
quite a bit of flack on Reddit when I basically, said Forte's my bust prediction. But the more that I look into it, the more that I kind of agree with that. Not that he's going to be a bust and finish, out of the top 20 or anything like that. But he's no longer a top guy. His mileage is huge. And so I think when you're in a redraft league, your third round pick, you're hoping for a guy that lands in a position maybe as good as Kadeem Carey. Kadeem Carey is talented, is behind a guy who he doesn't have 2 more years left, I don't think, at his mileage. And so, yeah, I like Kadeem Carey.
Yeah, I do too. For situation.
I completely disagree with both of you. So I think we just talked about the Marshawn Lynch situation, and now you're going to bail on Matt Forte to that degree. None of us are high on Matt Forte compared to the rest of the league.
Lynch has not shown any signs of decline. That was just an assumption of Carey's. Where Forte last year, he declined, and
he declined in yards per carry last year.
Right,
I get that, and his numbers were inflated by his receptions, but he didn't decline as a player. To me, I think you're talking system inflated his numbers, and that's why we're not as high on him. But Matt Forte is one of the tried and true every year, every down, multifaceted guys, and I don't see sign of decline on him. I just see system change. But I haven't seen anything from Kadeem Carey that I like. So we'll agree to disagree on that one. At Indelcalo.
Coyo?
Man, these Twitter handles are much harder to say than the emails that come in. I'll just start making email from Todd. Julio, Lacey, Steve Smith for AJ Green, ODB, and Lynch. Which side wins, Jason?
I like this question. I think it's a good, you take a look at each side, and there's reasons to pick both, but I would go with AJ, ODB, and Lynch, and my reason for that is because your third player here is basically your weakest link in the chain is stronger in that group. So essentially you're saying who would you rather have, Lynch or Steve Smith, or I guess to be probably more fair, you'd say AJ Green or Steve Smith, and that gap is really wide between those guys because you got Eddie Lacy versus Lynch. You'd probably like Lacy a little bit more, but the gap isn't huge. You got Julio and ODB. I like Julio more, but the gap isn't huge. And then you got Steve Smith or AJ Green. The gap is pretty large there. So I would go with the one with the better gap.
Yeah, I believe that this is Dynasty as well. So I mean, if you're talking, that's why the question is even being asked, because the Lacy versus Lynch in a Dynasty, it's overwhelmingly for Lacy. But
the same goes for Steve Smith and one of those other guys, the ODB or the AJ Green.
Yeah, I think I'm going to fire up the two younger receivers and Lynch, and then try and find myself a running back.
Yeah, the Dynasty thing sways it a little bit, but I agree with Jason. That's a good take on that one. I am with you. At Bradley PHX.
Oh, Phoenician.
Yes, a fellow Arizonan here. Contending team. Do I do this? Give the third pick, Mark Ingram, Stephen Ridley, Marvin Jones. Get AP, Jerick McKinnon, Keenan Allen, the fourth pick of the second round, a 2016 first, second, and third.
What?
Let me read. Did we get that right?
Yeah, this is hard. If I was listening to this in a car, I'd have a hard time wrapping my head around what in the world this deal is. So essentially, the first number is the third pick in a redraft league, which you figure is probably going to be Kevin White.
What? You mean not a redraft league?
Or I'm sorry, a dynasty league. So you got to figure that's probably Kevin White, right? Because Amari Cooper and Todd
Maybe,
Gurley are
yeah.
most boards. Someone around there. One of those three guys.
One of the rookies, Mark Ingram, Stephen Ridley, and Marvin Jones is what he would give up.
Mm-hmm.
But his haul in what he gets back is so much greater.
Oh,
yes.
Totally. Agreed.
So AP, Jerick McKinnon, Keenan Allen, he only gives up he gets the fourth pick of the second round, and then he gets a first, second, and third in 2016.
Hey, that's ridiculous. To get Adrian Peterson, especially if you're contending this year, then you already have his handcuff, and his not just his handcuff, but his heir to the throne of Minnesota, and then all those picks.
It's not even close.
Yeah. Yes, Bradley. Get it done.
All right.
Hopefully you accepted before that trade was pulled.
Yeah, or before he listened to this show and watched us ridicule his side of the deal. At B Scully 121 wants to know, this is a good question.
Ooh.
Jordan Matthews or Allen Robinson and John Stewart. The talk show host, not the running back.
That's
Well,
that changes things.
he's retiring soon, so
Okay, the running back, not the talk show host. What do you think?
I'm a huge Jordan Matthews guy, and I'm not a big Allen Robinson and Jonathan Stewart guy, even though I like where their value is. And Mike, I know you're high on both of those guys, but even still with that, I do think the value here, and of course this depends on your roster, right? Because this is a dynasty or a keeper league, and so if you've got depth, then go with the more the higher end talent, which I think is Jordan Matthews. But the value, you're better off on the side of the trade here for the 2-for-1, getting Allen Robinson and John Stewart. You get a running back, you get a good quality wide receiver. I like it.
I'm going with Jordan Matthews on this one.
Wow.
I like those other, but now
Wow. I am blown away.
I never saw Mike going that way.
No.
don't confuse how much I like Allen Robinson. I don't necessarily think Allen Robinson's going to turn into an elite guy. I believe Jordan Matthews will become an elite fantasy receiver this year or the next. And John Stewart, he's going to be nice. I think he's going to have a great year, but he doesn't have a ton of time left with all of his injuries and how long he's been in the league. So I want the elite talent, and so I'm going with Matthews.
And I think that's overstating it. Because how is he the elite talent? To me, if he hasn't done it yet, which he has not done it yet on the field, you don't know the role, you don't know who they draft, you don't know those things. I've seen this too many times. Oh, elite talent that hasn't done it. Monte Ball last year. There's plenty of guys like that.
But this is the game you have to play when you're in a dynasty. You have to forecast and make your best educated guess at who will become elite talent.
I guess my point is I think the forecasting of Robinson and Matthews, with the John Stewart pick, I guess I'm just on Jason's side on that. That's fine.
I think Robinson
if you're
will be
you're a
good.
Jordan Matthews believer, it's fine.
Yeah, and I am. I think he has all the tools, he has the physical stature, and he's in the system.
It's definitely a fair trade, and it's a trade that you need. It's a trade to send to a show and have the show split and give you no information on it.
Yep, and no help at all. At Bill Joe 33 wants to know, our standard scoring 12-man redraft is debating PPR versus standard, and he's the commish. What are your thoughts on PPR versus standard?
I have strong thoughts on this.
We all have strong thoughts on this one. Mike, what say you?
Half-point PPR is the ultimate scoring system to me. I think PPR far overvalues receivers, and you get guys like Edelman. Well, Edelman, great player, great function in the system that he has, but you had that game last year or 2 years ago, I can't remember, where he had about 15 catches for 50 yards or something like that. But in PPR, his scoring was through the roof because he caught the ball so many times, yet he was averaging 3 yards a catch. So to me, it's just going a full PPR is just too much. Half point is the perfect medium because it's right in the middle.
What about you, Andy?
I agree. I like half-point PPR. We were facing this discussion ourselves when we were deciding what to do with our listener league. By the way, thank you for everyone who's sent in their notes and desires to join our listener league. It's got me thinking about maybe having a second one. I got to bring that to you guys.
Oh,
we'll talk about it. Maybe we all.
leagues?
I'm thinking maybe all three of us join up on one team in another league, and then play against 11 other listeners as well.
We won't get anything done.
Probably based on that last question that we just completely disagreed on. But yeah, I like half point PPR. If it was just the decision between PPR versus standard, I go PPR. I think standard is on its way out, and this show made the decision early on as a show to kind of rate and discuss players with the presumption of at least a half point PPR, which I think is the perfect system. And so I commend your move potentially to a PPR league, and I agree with Mike.
Standard scoring is old busted.
From just a pragmatic, fun standpoint, it's just more fun to have. You don't have a scoring system like the days of old where you're going through and just adding up yards. You have instant tracking and instant scoring, and that instant feedback of today's entertainment.
Use decimals.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we definitely use decimals.
You got to use decimals.
No other thoughts on that?
Nope.
I'm in complete agreement. Half point PPR is
King.
Yeah, it wins.
I think I know the answer to this next question based on some of the things we talked about before. Comes in from @Paul Marnie, our Scottish friend.
Hey, bonjour.
He has tweeted us a question. Who's the better dynasty quarterback target, Cam Newton or Ryan Tannehill? He says Cam's stats are regressing, Tans are improving, or is it only his Dolphin fan bias?
That is a very observant thing to see, that Cam Newton has regressed every year while Tannehill has improved every year. I'll let Jason talk.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't know what you think.
yeah. I still go Cam Newton for sure. I don't think. I think that you want the better player who puts up the better fantasy points, and the arrows might be pointing certain directions, but those directions I think are pointing near their end peaks. And I don't see Cam having a worse year this year than he did last year. I think Cam.
So you have Cam over
I have
Tannehill
Cam over
this year.
Tannehill.
So
So I will use this analogy. When I need to get to the penthouse of a very tall building, I push the up arrow. That's usually how I get to the top. Kind of like the ascension of statistics from a quarterback, like, I don't know, Ryan Tannehill. I mean, yeah, going up that's usually how you get to the top, right?
Yeah,
usually.
So you're saying that's when you start on the bottom floor?
No, who finished better last year?
it was
It depends on the scoring system.
No, it depends on unless the scoring system is
if you're
Newton
taking
scores all the points.
If you're taking the stairs, you want the guy with the better legs.
Okay, and at this
And
point,
that's Cam Newton.
is it?
Yeah.
Is it with his
Yes, it's
ankles
Cam-
and his?
Honestly, for me, it's flip a coin, and in this case, the coin's going to land on the Dolphins side because you're a Dolphins fan. So grab your quarterback in a dynasty league.
Yeah,
the guy you like. I mean,
it's true.
I don't know the future.
I do. It's Tannehill.
Okay. I do like what they're doing there in terms of weapons, but if Cam has a couple more guys to throw out, and
Tannehill's
those
option
legs-
was picked up.
Wait a second. Who finishes better this year, Cam or Tannehill?
Cam.
Who finishes better this year?
Ryan Tannehill. Put it on the board.
Waterbed.
Sweet.
I thought I saw that. I saw it starting to come out of there.
That's a great one. I love
Plus,
it.
you guys actually made a bet for once.
Yeah,
Mike and
that's true.
Jason, instead of me jumping in and everything.
Oh.
I love it. The Cam Tannehill bet. All right.
That's easy pickings.
This next one came in from @BS Allen. Also, probably my favorite tweet of the week. He had a hashtag PPPPPPPRPOTW for the
Peter Piper Pizza PPR pick of the week.
Yes. That's
Yes,
the best
exactly.
hashtag of all time. Thank you, BS.
Have you ever had, I'm wondering, is this a new theory, preemptive sponsoring? Can we just keep like dropping this until some of our listeners tweet? Everybody tweet at Peter Piper. That's the goal. Tweet at Peter Piper.
Oh, Footballer
about the,
Nation. Get
Footballer
on this.
Nation. And until the pizza arrives at our house. He wants to know in his high money league, so big money here.
Uh-oh.
He's picking 12 out of, this is a great question. He's picking 12 out of 12. Would you take Jeremy Hill in that spot, or is that too early for Jeremy Hill?
I'm assuming that it's a snake league, and if I'm at 12, it depends on who's left on the board, but I'm going to make a strong assumption that that there's a lot of running backs gone. Jeremy Hill is there at 12. Absolutely. I take Jeremy Hill, and then I take an elite wide receiver on the flip side.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement. Obviously, if there's a great running back that's slipped that's ahead, but I don't even see how many. I mean, there's not going to be a better running back there in my.
My only thought is some people are freaked out by Peterson.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I mean, if
So let's say if Peterson is there at 12, Peterson or Hill.
Peterson or Hill.
Yeah, you take Peterson.
I take Peterson.
Yeah, me too.
I love Hill, but
The one other guy that I think could be there would be Arian Foster, because a lot of people are down on him.
You could take them both.
If Arian Foster if in any of those cases, if you've got AP and Hill there, or Arian Foster and Hill there, you take both of those guys, and then you go. Yeah, I like.
And if this isn't a snake, this is the point where you're not jumping too early on Jeremy Hill.
No.
We talked a little bit about, okay, if you had that first 5 picks, maybe you're waiting for him to come into the second round. But here, grab him. We love him.
Absolutely.
So, good question, BS Allen. I love the hashtag. So awesome.
Cheer up over there, man. So
Me?
glum. Yeah.
Oh, I don't feel glum.
You sound.
It's draft day.
You sound like Eeyore.
All of our energy
You know what?
right now
Sometimes-
is just it's
I know,
like on
I know,
the
I know.
down low because we're waiting for all of our
Conserving?
screaming at the draft. Yeah, it's on
We're
conservation.
preparing our
mode right
bodies. Preparing our bodies for
My
the draft.
body is ready.
I'm preparing it for your wife's sausage
The sausage dip.
Yeah.
now. Oh, the
Yeah.
su-
If that doesn't show up, I'm taking the
No.
soda I'm bringing over back
taking
in
your
your store.
TV.
I'm
and
hitting
we're
up the grocer on the way home.
All right.
We're making it happen.
Well, I'm sorry if I'm not excited enough. At Glosser13,
Woohoo!
looking for Dynasty trade help. Alshon Jeffrey and Latavius Murray for Carlos Hyde, the third pick, and Michael Floyd.
I'm interested to see
Which
what you guys say.
side is best? Thanks.
Question.
I will take the Alshon side for sure. You should have known that because I'm higher on Murray than anybody else. So
Yeah, I knew what you would say.
Yeah.
What
I'm,
does this guy say?
I'm absolutely. I don't think it wasn't a difficult decision for me. I'm on the Alshon side. On a group like this, you don't know what the 103 is gonna turn into. Alshon, I think, is gonna be a beast for a while. Latavius Murray, I think, I would prefer Murray to Hyde at this point right now, or at the very least, they're very, very close. And I don't see Michael Floyd as a long time.
does it change if we put a name in there for the third pick? If you say Todd Gurley, if you say
Kevin White.
Kevin White, if you say Melvin Gordon,
Because
because then you're giving up two running backs.
this is where it's so tough to do stuff like this today. You ask me this question tomorrow, and knowing
Because of the team they're on.
yeah, for instance,
Yep.
let's say Kevin White
on the Bears.
goes to the Bears. Exactly. Well, if Kevin White goes to the Bears, now
League.
Alshon Jeffrey takes a hit, and Kevin White can become the future. So then I go the second route. But in general, not knowing if you're doing this before the draft tonight, I like having Alshon. I want the best player. That's normally I like the trades that have the best player in it. That's generally speaking.
And they're both young.
And I
Jeffrey and Murray are young.
I usually agree. I want the best player. However, I think Hyde, I have him far ahead of Murray. I'm not a Murray believer. Alshon, I agree. Alshon is the best player in the trade, but the way I'm looking at it is Carlos Hyde, Kevin White, and Mike Floyd. For those two guys,
So you go that side.
Absolutely.
So we got two of us. Jason and I think the Alshon side. Mike thinks the Mike Floyd side.
And I would flop if Kevin White goes to the Bears.
and I'm
Or
still
several
I'm
other
still a
things,
Floyd truther, unfortunately. So.
Well, his option just got picked up, although it's a lot like the RG3 situation where it's not guaranteed unless he gets hurt this year
yeah, but it's different. They got it because they want him here.
at that rate, at
Yeah.
that price. At Dynasty Debates wants to know Carlos Hyde or Melvin Gordon. Obviously, Dynasty League. Carlos Hyde or Melvin Gordon? Another question really, really dependent on tonight.
Yeah, if you have to do this today,
Yeah, if you have to draft right
then
before the
I
draft.
go Carlos Hyde. He's got a situation where he's the starter and he's set to be on a running team and all of those things. So I'd go Carlos Hyde. So let me ask this then, so that it's a legitimate question. Let's give a couple places where Melvin Gordon goes and say whether or not you like Melvin Gordon versus Carlos Hyde. Let's say Melvin Gordon, Atlanta Falcons.
I take.
Gordon.
Ooh, yep.
I just like this. I like Atlanta a lot.
What about San Diego?
Oh, Gordon for sure. I think that's one of the best places. he could go.
Baltimore?
Gordon for sure.
Tressman.
Oh man, if Gordon goes to Baltimore, I'll be so sad about my
Giants.
Your
Awesome.
George-
Yes,
your Forsett bet will be in the
bet.
toilet.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
What was that?
Giants.
Giants. Hyde.
I would go Carlos Hyde.
Cardinals.
How dare you invoke the name of my
If
team?
I was not a Cardinals fan, I would go Carlos Hyde.
I
would want Melvin Gordon faux show.
Yeah, Gordon is hard because the line in Arizona is strong. It's going to be good. So,
Yeah.
But there will be split carries, obviously.
yeah, probably.
It's a good
Hyde.
question. I mean, obviously, there's a reason why Dynasty Debates is debating the topic. But I look forward to seeing this debate rage on after tomorrow. And according to Mike, tomorrow we won't know yet. At least tomorrow
That is
morning.
correct.
Oh, because you don't believe any running backs are going?
I don't
Well,
think. I think it's
I think
really.
there's
Or Gordon at least.
I think there's a small percentage chance that it happens.
Yeah, I
Correct.
think Gordon could easily fall out of the first. Easily. In fact, I don't expect Gordon to be drafted in the first.
I think on a normal year maybe, but to me I think there are too many running back needs for teams this year, so I think that they might. But we'll see. It's interesting too because you have the variable of Gurley's injury, where some people are reporting, hey, he'll be, most of the time.
I think it's still a situation.
There was a study that came out yesterday via ESPN, or at least it was posted on ESPN, that said
Via Melvin Gordon's camp.
no.
No, this is not good.
Oh, I know what you're saying. Yeah, that's funny. It said that collegiate athletes who've had or basically new rookies, people that have been drafted that have had a previous ACL injury, 1 in 4 of them have a re-injury of that ACL. So if you basically had an injury before you were drafted, 1 in 4.
That's not good.
Yeah, that's glass half full, guys. You know what I think? I
That's
think
glass half full?
glass half empty because three out of 4 never have the injury again. That's how I see it.
It scares me about Gurley. You hear that? It scares me.
It's not, but you don't just have that. You factor that into bust potential.
Yeah,
to-
and not playing at full strength maybe for the first 6 games, 7
yeah.
games.
That's
But people, then you have that super otherworldly talent. People were saying these type of things about Adrian Peterson when he came out. There's a reason the Arizona Cardinals drafted Levi Brown instead of Adrian Peterson.
And
He
remember,
had just come off an injury too.
do you guys remember the last prospect who was the best running back since Adrian Peterson?
Trent Richardson.
It was Trent Richardson.
Ooh. How'd that turn out?
Yeah, which maybe he was, but it so far has not panned out. It's about to explode in.
Well, you
Oakland,
don't
let's
think Richardson is about to take Oakland by storm?
Oh man.
1.2 yards a carry
1.2.
No.
if he's lucky. I think that's what MJD put up last year. Email. Oh, who just retired, by the way.
Yeah, he needed to.
It,
But that's dude, and MJD was a monster
for years and years.
But
and years.
the wheels fall off real quick.
Yeah, they do.
And he was a
And
diehard fantasy
people are.
fan.
I picture a guy that's just sliding down a cliff face, grabbing on for something, and you can't stop it once those running backs.
Oh, I picture Matt Forte in the next couple
Oh
of years.
my god,
Oh!
it's such an overstatement to me.
Matt
oh my
Forte
goodness.
started his career as an injury-prone guy, got hobbled. I'm just saying
We
he's
cannot
not the
start
type
talking
of
about him again.
body that Marshawn Lynch is. He's not that
Matt
type
Forte
of
is-
a body
I think he is.
physically.
If I had to put him on the scale on the generational type of guy versus not, I put him on the generational type of guy because he's got a track record of years and years of doing it.
So did Sean Alexander. All right, go on.
We have to go on. You should tweet us with your take on Matt Forte this year, all you Chicagoans out there listening to this.
Oh, what are the Chicagoans going to
are
think?
clearly going to say that he's good.
No, they're very unbiased, and they want.
So you think the unbiased people reside in
Have you heard the way they talk about Jay Cutler?
Well, that's
Jay
just
Cutler's
too
not
obvious.
the best. I'm just curious if
don't
there's
you ever disparage the name of Smoking Jay Cuddy in my
Smoking
presence.
Jay Cuddy. Every time I hear that now, all I do is think of snapback. I put him like
That's Stafford.
No, I know. I'm just saying I put them together. They're going to the mall together every day. They're skipping along
Frolicking
together.
hand in hand.
I bet I could hit that thing over there. Give me that ball.
Just a
Nope.
All right, what's the next email here? Let's keep this
Email-
thing moving along.
It's like Uncle Rico, man.
I brought
you see
another
that video?
backwards
Yeah.
cap for you.
But that's Stafford to me. Is Uncle
What did
Rico
you say before that they were both under the bleachers? They're both still in high school.
carving under with sharpieing up the bleachers,
Maddie loves Jay.
writing band names.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. That's what you want in your quarterback. Permanent high schooler. Email comes in from Sam. Hey guys. I love the show. It's great to have another quality podcast to add to my daily habit. Well, I'm glad you like the show, Sam.
Smiley face.
I kind of said that mean. Like,
Yeah.
Thanks
How
for liking
dare
the
you.
show, Sam. Ugh. All right.
How's his league set up?
It's set up as follows. It's a 10-team league with 15-man roster. He has to keep 5 players, and you can keep up to 10. Holy guacamole, that's
What?
got to be fun to sort through.
It's a weird league.
Essentially, he gives his roster here. He has Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, DeMarco Murray, Jamal Charles, Trey Mason, Niall Davis, Latavius Murray, Charles Sims. He's got Jimmy Graham at tight end. And at wide receiver, Emmanuel Sanders, Calvin Johnson, Alshon Jeffrey. I like this core. Devontae Adams, Dante Moncrief, and Josh Gordon. So basically, he wants to know, out of that roster, who are his locks and potential next 5. He's currently thinking Rodgers, Charles, Calvin Johnson, Alshon Jeffrey, and Emmanuel Sanders as his top 5. And then he's considering guys like DeMarco Murray, Jimmy Graham. What do you think here? Who should he lock in for sure?
Jamal Charles locked in. Right? Charles Sims locked in. That's a joke. That's a joke. So you got Calvin Johnson locked. You got Jamal Charles locked. I think here
Alshon Jeffrey.
You got Alshon Jeffrey locked.
So do you lock Graham or do you not? Because you forfeit a pick for every guy you keep.
Yeah, I think you lock Aaron Rodgers here because you have to keep 5. So you're talking about value. I think you get the value personally. Mike, I agree. Okay.
Every guy he keeps beyond the 5th pick, you need to start thinking of it in terms of what would be there.
Right.
In that first round for him.
And what he's thinking DeMarco Murray for 6th and Jimmy Graham for 7th. Yes, I absolutely do that.
Yep.
I think so. His
well,
grade,
that's not the pick he. I guess essentially, essentially it would be.
I mean, you can assign any number to any guy.
I got you. Yep.
His bigger question is for an 8th round pick, does he keep Trey Mason or Latavius Murray?
I know that you'd probably say Mason.
Of those guys, Mason, but I'm not a huge Trey Mason guy. I think I just lock in those 7 guys and then I start drafting.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for mailbag today, believe it or not. We are out of time on the show. You guys have anything else you want to pre-draft jubilation share?
I'm just ready to take my shirt off. Got to get these cameras off. Got to get the body paint going.
And just a reminder for all of you fantastic folks out there, if you're looking to play some daily fantasy, head over to FanDuel.com.
Mm-hmm.
Click on the promo code button. Just give it a little snap. Enter the promo code BALLERS, and they will dollar for dollar match you up to $200. It really helps out the show. It helps you out with 200 free possible dollars. You get to play daily fantasy, which is
if you haven't played daily fantasy,
it's a tremendous amount of fun.
Even if you don't deposit any money, you can go in and play for free.
Yeah.
You just register and
still use the promo
put
code
the promo
BALLERS.
code in there so that you get the bonus if you do deposit. But you can go in there and play around. You can learn the system in baseball and basketball if you just want to play football down the line.
Yeah, all of my basketball that I've been playing has been free.
Yeah,
because I don't know basketball.
But
thank goodness
still
for
fun.
your wallet. No,
I mean, we're still a ways from football, but the football daily is just amazing. The strategy you have to use is going to tweak how you have to think about things. And FanDuel is the place you want to do it.
No doubt.
With the code BALLERS.
With the code BALLERS. So that is today's show. Hope you enjoyed it. Kevin White is a
beast.
Kevin White is a
bear.
Chicago Bear. A bear. Beast,
I thought you were
beast.
referring he was a very hairy individual.
No, he's a beastly bear.
So check us out next
Or
week.
he's nude.
Enjoy the draft tonight. We'll have so much more information. We'll do a draft review show. Probably talk a lot through that next 2 shows. We'll have Adam Azer on the show from CBS. We're going to lock down that time. It'll be next week sometime, I think. And make sure you visit us on the web, thefantasyfootballers.com, on Twitter, @theFFBallers. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/thefantasyfootballers. And don't forget, you can subscribe to us on iTunes. Leave us one of those sweet reviews. We really appreciate it. And we will see all of you next week.
Or at the draft party tonight, everybody.
Yeah, you're all invited.
And I'm going to go see the Avengers this weekend. Avengers Assemble!
Thank you for listening to another edition of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Don't forget to visit us on the web at www.thefantasyfootballers.com and follow us on Twitter @theFFBallers.